Guys, starting off the show with an ask from me to you. Had some big-time Q1 2020 corporate meetings this week, and they said, James, so many Ohio State fans watch your show and reply to your tweets. If you don't get this show to 7,000 Michigan subscribers by the end of February, you are no new host of the Ohio State Report on this channel starting in March. So we need about 450 subscribers to get to 7,000. So unless you want to see this show go away and have me wearing an Ohio State shirt, which would just make me want to gouge my own eyes out, subscribe to the channel. As our Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders has said, I am once again asking for subscribers to the Michigan Football Report. Donate all the subscribers you can. Go in and whatever you've got in your pocket, you got 5 subscribers, give them to me right now because we've got to get this channel to 7,000 by the end of February. Got an extra day this year, leap year, so tell all your friends, tweet it out. Don't let me become an Ohio State football mega insider. Got a great show for you coming up right now. All right, go ahead and subscribe. One more reminder, Michigan Football Report. Today we're going to look at the 2020 coaching staff. A lot of uncertainty happened the end of December into the month of January. Some movements, also a little bit of movement from the kind of player personnel and recruiting aspect of things. So let's take a look at who's not with the program anymore from a coaching and support staff perspective. Chris Partridge, been with Michigan the entire time Jim Harbaugh has been there. Started off on the player personnel side of things, then was the defensive assistant, linebackers, and then safeties and special teams coach throughout the last few years. He is now the co-defensive coordinator at Ole Miss. Surprising news that came out of this is he took that job, left where he's been for 5 years, didn't even get a pay increase. Literally making almost to the dollar the same amount he made as a position coach at Michigan. So adding that word co-DC or that phrase co-DC, I guess that was enough to get him where he wants to be professionally. Maybe Michigan didn't show him the path that he could kind of move up in his career under Jim Harbaugh with Don Brown, I guess, being able to give up as many points as he wants against Ohio State and not have any job uncertainty. Also, Anthony Campanile, the New Jersey recruiting, guru, and with him and Partridge leaving, that pipeline's kind of dead because those guys, both New Jersey, both high school football coaches, and then, for Campanile, a few stops in college before coming to Michigan. Looked like he was coming back with a big raise, and then at the last minute, takes NFL offer, calls and takes a job with the Miami Dolphins. Linebackers coach last year, developed Cam McGrone, potentially a strong recruiter going long term, but if you're going to take a lateral move to the Miami Dolphins, clearly, Ann Arbor wasn't where you wanted to be. So he only lasts 1 year at Michigan. And then something I told you about 4 weeks ago, that has actually finally been reported is Devin Bush Sr. Left the Michigan program about 2.5 weeks ago. And then just last week, or maybe earlier this week, whatever, in the last 5 days or so, he is now the recruiting coordinator at Ole Miss. So he is joining Chris Partridge. So those couple guys, younger guys, early 40s, they will be part of what Ole Miss has going on as a program moving forward with first-year head coach Lane Kiffin. Make sure you get this deal as we jump into what the coaching staff looks like. Take a moment, type in that URL, chatsports.com/blue3. If you're watching on your iPhone, your Android, screenshot it, come back to it. This shirt's only $15, 50% off. I'll put the link in the comments, the link towards the top of the description. If you forget, chatsports.com/blue3. We keep it easy for you. I know, you guys are like me. You can't remember anything. Simple URL for you. Let's take a look at the coaching staff who will be leading Michigan into battle on the gridiron in 2020. Of course, it's Jim Harbaugh. 47-18 record, his 5 years at Michigan, 6th season coming in. Top 20 in 4 of his 5 seasons. Obviously, the 2017 season kind of fell off the rails, ending the season with 2 top 10 games against Wisconsin and Ohio State, losing the bowl game. You don't finish in the top 25. But 4 straight years. Outside of his first year, you lose the Ohio State game and the bowl game, so you're going into every season on a 2-game losing streak. Not something that gets a lot of people excited. Josh Gattis, coming back for a second year, was kind of left for dead. I thought there was 0 chance he'd return to the program about 5 or 6 games into the year. But the offense turned around. 3-game stretch, 3-game stretch at the end of the regular season. Shea Patterson really came alive with that offensive output, and I've got some optimism going into next year on the offensive side of the ball. I'm guessing the offense will be better than these numbers, really hampered by some abysmal performances in the first 5-6 games of the year. Then it's Don Brown, 5th season as Michigan's defensive coordinator. I don't know if a guy has gone from God to loser in the eyes of Michigan fans, not me, of course, but the internet, where all decisions and feelings are made these days. I don't think anybody at this point has faith in Don Brown, especially going up against Ohio State. Now, 5 seasons at Michigan, coming into it, 3 of the 4 years he's been there, had a top 5 overall defense. Last year, the only season that he didn't. But I don't care what happens to this defense this year. If you get shredded, eviscerated, obliterated against Ohio State again for the 3rd straight year, if you give up 50, 56, 62 points again, like, you can't return. I'm surprised he's back, to be frank. Giving up 56 points, I think 7 straight touchdowns against Ohio State and 7 straight drives, that's unacceptable. 45 points per game he's given up in the 4 seasons he's been in Michigan to Ohio State, and that is considering that the first couple of years were only like 30 points, whatever, and then you tag on 59 points over the last 2 years. Don Brown, the worst defensive coordinator in Michigan history when facing the Ohio State Buckeyes. Speaking of Ohio State, daily reminder for you guys to BOSA, hashtag BOSA, beat Ohio State again, 285 days, 21 hours, 56 minutes, 15 seconds, 14, 13. That clock's fast, I think. It's going faster than I can count. Beat Ohio State again. Screenshot this, crop it, make this your phone background, print it out, mail it to Jim Beckler Hall, care of Jim Harbaugh, so he knows that you're taking it as seriously as I am. 285 days until Michigan has the opportunity to finally beat Ohio State after nearly a generation of kids have grown up never knowing what it feels like to beat the Buckeyes. Your offensive coaching staff going into this year under Josh Gattis, Ed Warinner, his 3rd year as the offensive line coach, former offensive coordinator at Ohio State, former offensive coordinator at Notre Dame. So you've got a talented guy and a position coach at Michigan. So I think he's Michigan's offensive coaching MVP the last 2 years with the way the offensive line turned around from the Swiss cheese offensive line they rolled out there in 2017. So excited to see what he's got working with in 2020, but got a lot of work to do given they're only returning 1 starter, a starter who was a redshirt freshman at that in the 2019 season. So Ed Warinner is one to keep an eye out. He'll have a lot of work to do to make Michigan's offensive line as strong as they've been in the last couple of years. How about Ben McDaniels? If you're not as familiar with him, he's kind of the one guy on this coaching staff that doesn't get a lot of publicity. Quarterbacks coach. I think a lot of you were trying to string him up and run him out of town after Shea Patterson started the year, but he'll return for his 2nd year. Some rumors that he might go to the New England Patriots as the wide receivers coach. They decided to go elsewhere. And there's Jim Harbaugh, who got promoted when Chris Partridge took the Co-DC role. Those guys were co-special teams coach. Now Jay, after a couple years as Michigan's tight end coach, was it 1 year, 2 years, whatever it was, 4th year now, we're coming into as the running backs coach, will add the lone special teams coordinator to his role. Jim's son, other than Mike Zordich, the cornerbacks coach, the only coach on this staff who's been with Jim Harbaugh every single year he's been at Michigan. And then to round out their offensive coaching staff, Sharon Moore, also in his 3rd year. I don't know where he fits with this staff long term because Michigan has really devalued the role of the tight end over the last 12 months. He made sense in 2018 when Michigan was running more of a pro-style offense with a few spread concepts, but tight end's been devalued. McCune had a nice year. Nick Eubanks will come back, who I think is really talented, so we'll see how that tight end role fits in with this position. Michigan doesn't have a dedicated wide receivers coach. If Moore would ever move on in this new offense, you might be thinking about the next hire being a wide receivers and tight ends coach, so you get a little more game day coaching for those wide receivers. But that's your offensive coaching staff. Question for you guys. Put it down in the comments section below. We'll pin this one. Will Michigan's offense improve in 2020? You can take improvement however way you want. You want to take it from a yards perspective, from a points perspective, from a winning perspective, stats, whatever you want. I don't care with that. It's an open-ended question from how you interpret it, but interpret it as you will. Type Y for yes, type N for no. I'm going to go for yes. I mean optimism here on out, but it's going to all depend on what happens with this quarterback battle we'll start seeing here in the next month or so. Got some awesome videos for you, including that quarterback battle on the channel, so subscribe. This is the kind of content we're putting out all offseason long. We have a deep dive into Milton versus McCaffrey. We take our first look at the 2020 offensive depth chart, if you want to know who's in the two deep for Michigan's offense in 2020. And then Bernie Sanders, whether you think of him or not, this is a pretty funny meme, is that he goes into it saying, I'm once again asking for your financial support. He looks like a grandpa who escaped from, Christmas dinner, wandering around the neighborhood and disheveled. And we replaced it with, I'm once again asking for subscribers to the Michigan Football Report. There is a real chance we just bring the contractors in here. They paint this wall red, slap a Ohio State O behind me, and I'm wearing a red shirt 3 weeks from now. Don't let it happen. What? Chat Politics. I could be our new political commentator with my inclusion of Bernie Sanders. And by the way, I don't want to hear any of you guys going unsubscribing because you brought politics. And I don't care about Bernie. It's just kind of funny. Okay, subscribe to the channel. If I catch you subscribing, by the way, watching, and you're not subscribed, I'm gonna start calling some of you people out because they let us. If you watch and you're not subscribed, we actually know that now here at Michigan Football Report YouTube. Hook this up. Defensive coaching staff: Don Brown, Sean Nua, the new guy, two new guys. Brian, I'm not sure if it's Jean Marie, or Jean Marie. I haven't actually heard anyone pronounce it. Michigan, for some reason, doesn't hold press conferences like every other program in the country when they introduce new coaches. So this is an interesting one because a lot of the blog boys out there were championing this as a big-time hire from a recruiting perspective, but there's been a few detractors from him, people that have covered recruiting in Texas, in Florida. I've talked to parents that he recruited that said, this guy's not a good recruiter at all. He didn't do anything. And if you look at his track record when he was at Texas, didn't really, he had 1 5-star in 3 years there out of the state of Texas. He probably would have gone there, elsewhere that he was on. So I think Brian, I'm just going to make him French until someone tells me otherwise. We're going to call him Brian Jean-Marie, is the new linebackers coach. But if he's your star recruiter to make up for Campanile and who am I missing? Campanile and this guy's missing his name. Chris Partridge. Put it in my ear. The research department looked that up in real time. So thank you to the Chat Sports research department. If this is your star recruiter, he better start putting it on right now because he's got a lot to prove to me if he is a star recruiter. I don't think this guy is a star recruiter at all. He's actually, coming up, Bob Shoop, he's actually known for not being a good recruiter, but maybe more of the coaching. You got a recruiting hire, you got a coaching hire to fill these roles. Shoop's been a defensive coordinator, so he brings a lot of experience. Mississippi State's DC the last couple of years with their new coaching staff that's no longer with them. DC at Tennessee, so not a ton of winning as a defensive coordinator, but I believe he was some defunct website, footballshoop.com, named him the defensive coordinator of the year or 2017. So he's got some accolades. 18. They were really good defense, Mississippi State, in 2018. So interested to see how long he sticks around. Signed, I believe, a 2-year contract. So hopefully not like Campanile and leaves after 1 year. These guys stick around if they are getting the job done. So this is the defensive staff that Michigan's going to roll out against Ohio State come November 28th. 285 days away, 21 hours, 49 minutes, 4 seconds, 3 seconds. I want to know this question. Don Brown's given up 44-point-something points per game over 4 years against Michigan. So we're going to set that as the over-under. Predict. Type O or U. Can this defensive staff and defenseless Don Brown against Ohio State, can they hold Ohio State under 44 points this coming season, or is it going to be over again? Type O for over, type U for under. I just look at recent history. I'm going to go with over until I am proven wrong. Before we go, I want to make sure you guys see this one more time. For the guy who was like, oh, geez, what was that URL again? Type it right there, chatsports.com/blue3. The show's over, so if you want to go buy it right now, get rid of me, go type the URL in. Chatsports.com/blue3. It's in the comments. It's in the description. Awesome Michigan football t-shirt for only $15. Don't wait until spring football rolls around and that bad boy becomes full price. To avoid this becoming the Ohio State Football Report, I need you to subscribe to the Michigan Football Report YouTube channel right here, youtube.com/MichiganTV. Just click this button. You'll see every single video we have all off season long. I've got some awesome Michigan football videos for you right here and right here. Go Blue.